Colonel Jae-sung stood on the bridge of his flagship as it dropped out of hyperspace near the Vega system. 3 months had passed since the battle at Jupiter, and now humanity was no longer defending Earth. They were hunting the Council across the galaxy. The alien supply depot orbiting Vega 4 was supposed to be secret, but human intelligence had found it anyway. The Council was learning that humans had abilities they never expected. They could track ships across vast distances, decode alien communications, and appear where they were least wanted. "This is Colonel Jae-sung to all ships," he spoke to his fleet of 60 vessels. "Remember, we are not here to destroy everything. We are here to send a message." The Council ruled through fear for 300 years. Now they will learn what fear feels like. The attack began at dawn local time. Human ships emerged from hyperspace in perfect coordination surrounding the alien base before its defenders could react. The Council forces tried to send a distress signal, but human jamming technology blocked all communications. The battle was swift and brutal. Human Marines boarded the station while fighters destroyed the defensive platforms. The aliens fought back, but their movements were predictable, their tactics unchanged from battles fought centuries ago. Inside the command center, Captain Hae-won found something that made her smile. The alien commander was trying to understand how humans had found this secret base. The location was known only to high-ranking council members, yet somehow Earth forces had tracked them across 30 light-years. "You want to know how we found you?" Hae-won said to the captured alien commander. "We learned from the ships you left behind at Jupiter. We studied your computers, your navigation systems, your patrol routes. You have been using the same supply lines for 200 years. The alien looked at her with its glowing eyes wide with shock. "Impossible. Your species barely has interstellar travel. You cannot have decoded our system so quickly." But that was exactly what humans had done. While the Council had grown comfortable and lazy, humanity had been learning, adapting, evolving. Every captured alien ship became a classroom. Every prisoner became a teacher. Dr. Subin had spent the last 3 months studying alien psychology, and she had discovered something important. The Council was not just military rulers. They were also religious leaders. The species under their control believed the Council was chosen by the gods to rule the galaxy. Zubin had a different plan. Instead of just fighting the Council military forces, humanity would attack their reputation, their divine image, their claim to be unbeatable. She broadcast messages to every enslaved species in the galaxy using captured Council communication systems. The messages were simple but devastating. They showed alien ships fleeing from human forces, Council commanders surrendering, and Council leaders panicking in their home system. "Citizens of the galaxy," she said in her calm voice, "the Council told you they were unbeatable. They told you resistance was impossible. They told you they were chosen by the gods to rule over you. But look at what humans have done in just 3 months." The broadcasts showed footage from the Jupiter battle, human fighters dancing between alien ships like they were toys, alien flagships being captured by tiny human boarding parties, Council admirals begging for mercy. The psychological impact was enormous. Species that had been enslaved for generations began to whisper of rebellion. Some sent secret messages to human commanders offering intelligence about Council positions. Others began sabotaging alien supply lines. The Council tried to stop the broadcasts, but humanity had learned to use the aliens' own communication networks against them. Every time the Council blocked one signal, humans opened 10 more. Every time they tried to jam human transmissions, their own systems went down instead. Captain Won-ho led a series of raids that seemed impossible. His small force of 12 ships struck at Council military bases deep in enemy territory, then vanished before reinforcements could arrive. The attacks followed no pattern that alien minds could understand. One day he would hit a weapons depot near the galactic core. The next day his ships would appear at a training facility on the outer rim. The Council could not predict where he would strike, because Won-ho did not decide until the last moment. The secret was human intuition, something no alien species possessed. Won-ho and his captains would study intelligence reports, look at star maps, and suddenly know where to go next. They followed hunches, gut feelings, and instincts that were always right at the eye. Siege of Tauketi. General Hyojung commanded the first major assault on a council stronghold. The fortress was built into an asteroid and defended by 1,000 ships. It had never been successfully attacked in its 500-year history, but Hyojung did not attack the fortress directly. Instead, she attacked the council reputation. She surrounded the system and broadcast a simple message to the defenders. "You have two choices," she announced. "Surrender now and face trial for your crimes, or fight us and lose anyway. The choice is yours, but either way, this fortress falls today." The alien commander laughed at the human message. His fortress had defeated fleets 10 times larger than the human force. But then strange things began to happen. Human ships appeared inside the asteroid field, moving between rocks like they knew every hiding place. The fortress weapons could not target them because they moved too unpredictably. Human marines began cutting through the fortress outer hull in a dozen places at once. The real shock came when the fortress defensive fleet engaged the human ships in the first hour of battle. 30 alien vessels surrendered without firing a shot. Their crews had heard the stories about what happened to those who fought humans. The fortress fell in 6 hours, not through superior firepower but through superior psychology. The defenders realized they were not fighting just another species. They were fighting evolution, and fast-forward word of the victory spread across the galaxy within days. The mighty council fortress that had stood for 5 centuries was now flying human flags. The psychological impact was greater than any military victory. Entire alien fleets began surrendering rather than face human forces. The council member species started demanding answers from their leaders. How could humans be everywhere at once? How could they learn so fast? How could they seem to read alien minds? Admiral Tae Young received reports from across the galaxy, alien patrol fleets abandoning their posts, council governors fleeing their planets, enslaved species rising in open rebellion. The 300-year reign of terror was cracking like old ice. But the real breakthrough came when Dr. Hyun-woo made contact with the Kepler Liberation Front. This was a group of survivors from species the council had supposedly destroyed. They had been hiding in dead systems and forgotten planets, waiting for someone to challenge their oppressors. "Commander, we have been monitoring your broadcast for months. Kepler 442b was our home before the council destroyed it. We represent 47 species that were supposed to be extinct. We want to join your fight." Hyun-woo smiled as he read the message. 47 species. The same number the council had claimed to destroy completely. But some had survived, and now they wanted revenge. The liberation fleets began forming near the edge of council space. Humans provided weapons training and tactical support. The survivors provided something equally valuable: knowledge of council weaknesses and hiding places. Captain Boram commanded the first joint human-alien fleet as it struck at a council slave processing center. These facilities were where captured populations were broken and trained to serve their new masters. Boram had seen one before on Kepler 442b, and she had never forgotten. The battle was different from previous engagements. The freed species fought with a fury that impressed even human soldiers. They had waited centuries for this chance, and they would not waste it. When the facility fell, the humans found something that changed everything. Detailed records of every species the council had enslaved or destroyed. Lists of planets that had been strip-mined until they were dead. Maps of secret bases and hidden fleets. Most importantly, they found the location of the council home system, the crystal towers where the alien leaders lived in luxury while billions suffered under their rule. The information was broadcast to every liberation fleet in the galaxy. The message was simple: the time for hiding is over. The time for small raids is finished. Now we go to the source. We end this where it began. The council leaders received the broadcast in their crystal towers high above their capital world. For the first time in 300 years, they felt something they had almost forgotten. They felt afraid. The humans were no longer just defending their home world. They were leading. A galactic revolution. Species that had been enslaved for centuries were joining together under human leadership. The impossible was happening. The galaxy was fighting back, and at the center of it all were the humans. The species the council had dismissed as weak and divided. The species that was supposed to surrender without a fight. The species that had turned the entire galaxy upside down in less than a year. The final battle was coming, and the Council would learn what happened when you threatened. Something humans loved, they would learn what regret felt like. The crystal towers of the Council homeworld stretched toward the stars like frozen lightning. Each tower was a kilometer tall and housed millions of the alien rulers who had controlled the galaxy for 3 centuries. But today, the towers were dark and the Council leaders were afraid. Admiral Tae-young stood on the bridge of his flagship as the Liberation Fleet dropped out of hyperspace around the Council capital system. 5,000 ships from 47 different species surrounded the planet that had been the source of so much suffering. The fleet was not the largest in galactic history, but it was the most feared. Every ship carried crews who had personal reasons to hate the Council. Every captain commanded warriors who had lost family, friends, entire worlds to alien tyranny. "This is Admiral Tae-young to all Liberation Forces," the human commander spoke into his communicator. "Today we end 300 years of suffering. Today we show the galaxy that tyrants can fall. Today we prove that evil has consequences." The Council tried one last desperate move. They activated planetary shields that could withstand star-killer weapons. They launched their remaining fleet of 10,000 ships. They broadcast a message to every enslaved world in the galaxy. "If you attack this system, we will destroy every species we have conquered. Our ships are positioned at 1,000 worlds with orders to commit genocide. The moment you fire a single shot, 10 billion innocent beings will die." President Kim So-young received the message back on Earth. She was older now, worn down by a year of constant war, but her voice was still strong when she responded. The broadcast went out to every ship in the Liberation Fleet. "The Council threatens to murder innocents because they know they cannot win through strength. This is what tyrants do when they are cornered. They hold hostages and make threats. But we are not like them. We will not let fear stop us from doing what is right." A response came not from the human fleet but from the enslaved worlds themselves. Across the galaxy, species that had lived under Council rule for centuries rose in rebellion. They attacked the alien occupation forces on their own planets. They sabotaged the weapons meant to destroy them. The message was clear to everyone, including the Council. The galaxy would rather die fighting than live as slaves. Dr. Hyun-woo led the scientific analysis of the Council home system. His team had studied the alien capital for months using long-range sensors and intelligence from freed species. What they found gave them hope. The Council had built their civilization on fear and control, but they had forgotten how to fight real wars. Their planetary defenses were strong but outdated. Their tactics were 300 years old. Their commanders had never faced determined resistance. Most importantly, the Council rulers themselves had become soft. They lived in luxury towers protected by technology and never faced personal danger. They commanded from a distance and expected others to die for them. The final battle began when Captain Bo-ram led a squadron of stealth ships through the planetary defenses. Her vessels were invisible to Council sensors because they used technology stolen from the aliens themselves, improved by human engineering. The stealth ships did not attack the crystal towers directly. Instead, they targeted the planetary shield generators hidden in deep bunkers across the capital world. Once the shields fell, the Liberation Fleet could finish the job. Bo-ram and her crew fought through underground tunnels filled with automated defenses. They moved like shadows through alien architecture designed to confuse invaders, but humans had learned to think like the Council to predict their moves. When the shields fell, the Liberation Fleet struck with precision that amazed even the human commanders. Each ship knew exactly where to go, exactly what to hit. The attack was coordinated across light years with timing measured in microseconds. The Council fleet tried to respond, but they were fighting 47 different species, each with their own tactics, their own strengths, their own reasons for hatred. The aliens could not predict what their enemies would do because their enemies were not fighting like any single species. Commander Ye-jin led the assault on the primary crystal tower where the Council leadership was hiding. Her Marines were a mix of humans and freed aliens, working together with deadly efficiency. They cut through the tower defenses like a knife through silk inside the tower. Everything was silver and cold, just like the alien ships, but bigger, more elaborate. The corridors were wide enough for giants, and the ceilings disappeared into darkness above. The Council had built this place to make visitors feel small and afraid, but Ye-jin was not afraid. She had seen what the Council did to peaceful species. She had walked through the ruins of worlds they had destroyed. She had met survivors who had lost everything to alien greed. The council leaders were waiting in the highest chamber of the tallest tower. They sat on thrones made of crystal and light, wearing robes that seemed to be woven from starlight itself. They looked like gods, but Ye Jin knew they were just bullies with fancy clothes. The lead council member was the same creature that had delivered the ultimatum to Earth 1 year ago. Its voice still sounded like grinding metal, but now there was fear in it. "You cannot do this to us," it said as human marines surrounded the throne room. "We are the Galactic Council. We have ruled for 300 years. We are chosen by the gods themselves." Ye Jin walked up the steps to the crystal throne. She was a small human woman facing a creature twice her size, but she showed no fear. "Your gods are dead," she said quietly. "Your empire is finished. Your time is over. Now you face something you have never faced before. You face justice." The trial of the council leaders was broadcast across the galaxy. Every species, every world, every survivor watched as the alien rulers were forced to confront their crimes. They were shown recordings of destroyed worlds, testimonies from enslaved populations, evidence of genocide. Some council members broke down completely when they saw what they had done. Others begged for death, thinking it would be easier than facing the truth. But they received neither mercy nor execution. Instead, they received something worse. They received the knowledge that they would spend the rest of their very long lives helping to rebuild what they had destroyed. They would work in the mines they had forced others to dig. They would serve the species they had enslaved. The galaxy watched as the mighty council leaders were led away in chains, not to execution, but to labor camps where they would learn what it felt like to be powerless. But the real victory was not in the capture of the council leaders. It was in what happened next. The freed species did not fight each other for control of the galaxy. They worked together to build something better. President Kim So-young gave the final speech of the war, standing in the ruins of the Crystal Towers. Her words were broadcast to every world in the galaxy. "We did not fight this war to rule over you," she said. "We fought to give you the choice to rule yourselves. The galaxy belongs to all of us, not to any one species, not to any council of tyrants. Take your worlds, build your futures, and remember what happens when good people stand together." The reconstruction took years, but it was led by cooperation. Not conquest. Species that had been enemies for millennia worked side by side to repair the damage caused by council rule. Worlds that had been strip mined were restored to life. The council homeworld was transformed into a memorial, where beings from across the galaxy could come to remember the cost of tyranny. The Crystal Towers still stood, but now they housed schools and hospitals instead of tyrants. Captain Wan Ho became the first commander of the Galactic Peace Corps, a mixed force of humans and aliens dedicated to preventing future tyrannies. They patrolled the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as protectors. The final message was sent from Earth to every star system in the galaxy. It was recorded by the same President Kim So-young, who had defied the Council ultimatum 1 year earlier. "We never wanted war," she said into the camera. "You forced it on us. You threatened our children. You promised to enslave our world. You made us angry. Now you know what happens when humans get angry. Don't do it again." The message spread across the galaxy, faster than light, carrying with it a promise and a warning. Humanity would be peaceful neighbors to any species that chose peace, but those who chose tyranny would face the consequences. The Council had wanted war, and they had received it. But what they had not expected was the regret that would follow them for the rest of their lives. They had awakened something in the galaxy that could not be put back to sleep. They had awakened hope, and hope was the most dangerous weapon of all. The alien fleet dropped out of hyperspace near Jupiter like a silver storm cloud blotting out the stars. Admiral Sung Ho stood on the bridge of his flagship watching 10,000 enemy ships arrange themselves in perfect formation. The aliens moved like they had done this dance 1,000 times before, which they had. "This is Admiral Sung Ho to all human forces." He spoke into his communicator. "Remember what we learned about these creatures. They fight the same way every time. They expect us to line up and let them destroy us ship by ship. We are not going to give them what they expect. The alien commander sent a message across all frequencies as his massive fleet moved toward Earth. His voice was cold and certain of victory. Humans of the third planet, you see our strength before you. 10,000 ships of the Galactic Council approach your world. Surrender, now, and some of you may live as slaves. Resist, and all of you will die. Your primitive vessels cannot stand against our might. Admiral Sung Ho smiled as he listened to the alien speech. He had been studying Council battle tactics for 5 years. He knew exactly what they would do first. They would send half their fleet forward in a tight formation, expecting the humans to meet them in open battle. Instead, the aliens flew straight into the first human surprise. Commander Heywan watched from her fighter as the alien ships hit the minefield near Jupiter. These were not normal mines that just exploded. These were smart mines that released swarms of tiny ships no bigger than cars. Each little ship was armed with drills and explosives, and they moved like angry insects. The alien shields were designed to stop big energy weapons, not millions of tiny metal objects drilling through their hulls. In seconds, hundreds of alien ships were venting atmosphere and spinning out of control. Their perfect formation became chaos as captains tried to avoid the swarming attackers. But this was just the beginning. Captain Heywan led her squadron of human fighters into the confused alien formation. Her ships did not fly in straight lines or perfect patterns. They moved like birds, like fish, like dancers following music. Only they could hear. The alien gunners tried to target them, but every time they locked onto one human ship, 3 others attacked from impossible angles. The human fighters were connected through quantum communication, sharing information faster than thought. But each pilot fought with pure instinct inside. Her cockpit. Heywan rolled her ship under an alien cruiser and fired her new fusion torpedoes. The weapons Dr. Minseo had created punched through alien armor like it was paper. The cruiser broke in half in a flash of white light. All around her, the battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships appeared where they should not be able to exist, struck where the aliens thought they were safe, and vanished before return fire could find them. Major Kyung-soo led the first boarding assault on an alien dreadnought. His Marines used small pods that looked like meteors to crash through the enemy hull. The aliens had never been boarded before, and they did not know how to fight enemies inside their own ships. The corridors were built for creatures 8 feet tall, but humans were smaller, faster, more flexible. Kyung-soo and his team moved through the alien ship, like shadows striking from ventilation shafts, from maintenance tunnels, from places the aliens never thought to guard. The alien crew tried to fight back, but their weapons were designed for ship-to-ship combat, not for fighting in cramped spaces against enemies who moved like ghosts. The humans captured the entire ship in 20 minutes. But the real shock came when the aliens realized what the humans were doing. They were not just trying to win space battles. They were trying to capture alien technology, alien ships, alien prisoners. Every human victory made them stronger, smarter, more dangerous. Commander Yejin discovered something that terrified the alien commanders. Her science team had been studying captured alien equipment, and they found the Council's greatest weakness. The aliens had been rulers for so long, they had forgotten how to learn. For 300 years, they had used the same weapons, the same tactics, the same strategies. They conquered species that surrendered quickly, so they never had to adapt or improve. But humans were different. Every time the aliens destroyed a human ship, the other humans learned from it. Every time humans captured alien technology, they made it better. Every human defeat taught them something new. Every victory gave them superior weapons. The battle spread across the solar system. Human ships appeared at Saturn, attacking alien supply vessels. They struck at Mars, destroying alien communication arrays. They hit Uranus, taking out alien sensor stations. The alien fleet commander tried to understand what was happening. His forces were losing ships faster than he had ever seen. But the humans seemed to have fewer ships than when the battle started. How were they everywhere at once? The answer was something the Council had never encountered. Human ships did not just fight and die like other species. Human ships fought and learned and adapted. They shared information instantly across vast distances. They coordinated attacks with precision that seemed impossible. Lieutenant Sora commanded a group of human destroyers near Saturn. Her ships were Outnumbered 10-1, but she had studied alien psychology. The Council species were proud and arrogant. They always accepted challenges to single combat. She broadcast a message to the alien fleet commander. Your ships are weak. Your crews are cowards. Come and face me if you dare to fight like a warrior instead of hiding behind numbers. The alien commander was furious at the insult. He sent 50 ships to destroy the single human squadron. It was exactly what Sora wanted. The aliens came in there, standard formation, thinking their numbers would guarantee victory. Instead, they flew into a trap. Sora had positioned her ships near Saturn rings using the ice and rock as cover. When the aliens arrived, her destroyers emerged from hiding and struck from 6 directions at once. The alien commander realized too late that he had been outmaneuvered. The human ships used the rings as weapons, launching chunks of ice and metal at tremendous speed. The alien shields that could stop energy beams were useless against physical projectiles. In 30 minutes, 50 alien ships were destroyed or captured. The human squadron lost only 2 vessels across the solar system. Similar scenes played out again and again. Human commanders used tricks and tactics the aliens had never seen before. They turned asteroids into weapons. They used gas giant atmospheres to hide their ships. They employed the sun gravity to accelerate their attacks. Captain One-Ho led a raid on the alien flagship itself. His small assault ship slipped through the enemy fleet, invisible to their sensors, until it was too late. He and his crew of 12 Marines boarded the massive command vessel. Inside the flagship, One-Ho found something that changed everything. The alien commander was in communication with the council leaders back in their home system, and they were panicking. The council had ruled through fear for 3 centuries. They had never faced real resistance. They did not know how to fight an enemy that refused to submit, that learned from every battle, that became stronger with each defeat. The council leaders were demanding to know how humans could be everywhere at once, how their technology advanced so quickly, how they seemed to predict every alien move. The flagship commander had no answers. One-Ho recorded everything before escaping with his team. The information was broadcast to every human ship and then to every species in the galaxy. The mighty council was afraid. The tide of battle turned when entire alien squadrons began surrendering rather than face human forces. Word spread through the enemy fleet. The humans did not just defeat you, they made you wish you had never been born. Some alien captains tried to retreat, but human ships were faster. Some tried to call for reinforcements, but humans had already destroyed their communication arrays. Some tried to hide, but human sensors could find them anywhere. By the end of the day, the great alien fleet that had come to conquer Earth was scattered and broken. Half their ships were destroyed or captured. The other half were fleeing toward the edge of the solar system. Admiral Shung-Ho sent a message to the retreating aliens. This is what happens when you threaten our home. Tell your council what you learned here. Tell them that humans remember their enemies. Tell them we are coming. The first battle was over, but the war was just beginning. The aliens had wanted to conquer a weak, divided species. Instead, they had united humanity and taught them how to fight. The Council had ruled the galaxy for 300 years. Now they would learn what happened when you made humans angry. The hunt was about to begin. The alien response came 3 days after Earth sent its defiant message. Lieutenant Colonel Jin-Ho was in the war room when every communication device started buzzing at once. The silver creature appeared on screen again, but this time it looked angry. Its glowing eyes burned brighter and its voice sounded like grinding metal. You dare refuse us? Your pathetic species thinks it can resist the Galactic Council. We have destroyed civilizations that were 1,000 times stronger than you. We'll turn your blue world into ash and dust. Jin-Ho stood up from his chair and walked closer to the screen. His face was calm, but his eyes were hard like steel. He had fought in 3 wars before the aliens came, and he was not afraid of bullies, no matter how big they were. The creature continued its threats. We will send 1 million ships to your system. We will block out your sun with our fleet. We will hunt down every human until none remain. Your children will curse your name for choosing war over surrender. When the transmission ended, Jin-Ho did something that shocked everyone in the room. He smiled. Then he walked to the communication console and opened a channel to broadcast across every frequency in the galaxy. His response was, heard by every species under council rule, "You want to know what humans do to bullies," he said in a voice that was quiet but carried the weight of mountains. "We show them what real monsters look like. Come to Earth. We will be waiting." The message spread across the galaxy faster than light. Within hours, every enslaved species had heard it. Some laughed, thinking humans were foolish. Others felt something they had not felt in centuries. Hope on Earth. The transformation began immediately. President Kim, so young, had declared martial law, but it was not the harsh kind that hurt people. It was the kind that helped everyone work together. Every factory, every laboratory, every military base started working on one goal: making the aliens sorry they had threatened humanity. Dr. Min Seo had been a peaceful scientist before the ultimatum. She studied stars and planets and dreamed of exploring the galaxy in peace. But when the Council threatened her world, she became something else. She became a weapon maker. The kind that gave nightmares to enemies. In her laboratory deep under Seoul, she worked 18 hours a day combining human creativity with stolen alien technology. Her first breakthrough came when she realized something important. The aliens were very old and very set in their ways. They used the same weapons, the same tactics, the same strategies for hundreds of years. But humans were different. Humans adapted, humans learned. Humans changed. Min Seo created the first fusion torpedo using alien power cores but human guidance systems. The weapon was small enough to fit in a briefcase but powerful enough to destroy a mountain. She made 100 of them in the first week. Across the world, other scientists were making similar breakthroughs. In Russia, they built armor that could stop alien energy weapons. In America, they created engines that could make ships faster than anything the Council had ever seen. In China, they developed computers that could think like humans but process information like machines. The most amazing change was not in technology, it was in people. Captain Dong Hyun watched it happen at the shipyards in Busan. Former enemies were now working side by side. American engineers taught Korean workers, Russian scientists shared secrets with Japanese researchers. Chinese manufacturers helped German designers. The new warships rising in every port were unlike anything Earth had ever built. They were not just human ships with alien parts. They were something new. Something that combined the best of both species' technology with human spirit. The flagship was called Incheon Revenge, and it was beautiful in a deadly way. Its hull was black as space and covered with armor that seemed to drink in light. Its weapons were hidden, but Captain Dong Hyun knew they could turn asteroids into dust. The ship was 3 kilometers long and carried 5,000 crew members, but the real power was not in the ships. It was in the people who would fly them. Sergeant Yu Jin trained the 1st Battalion of Earth Defense Marines in the mountains of Korea. These were not regular soldiers. These were volunteers who knew they might never see their families again, but came anyway. They came from every country on Earth, and they all had one thing in common: they were angry. The aliens had made a mistake. They had threatened human children. They had shown pictures of humans in chains. They had promised to destroy everything that humans loved. Now they would learn what happened when you made humans angry. Yujin was a small woman, but her voice could make grown men tremble when she shouted. She had learned to fight in the streets of Seoul before joining the army. Now she taught others how to fight in the cold vacuum of space. "Listen up," she told her trainees. "The aliens think they know how to fight. They have been bullying weak species for 300 years. They expect us to line up our ships and let them shoot us down like the others did. We are not going to do that." The training was harder than anything the soldiers had ever experienced. They learned to fight in zero gravity and total darkness in conditions that would kill normal people. They learned to use alien weapons and human weapons and weapons that were both. But most importantly, they learned to think like humans fighting aliens, not like humans fighting humans. The aliens fought in formation. They followed rules. They did what their commanders told them to do. Humans were different. Humans improvised. Major Kyung-soo led the development of new fighting tactics. His background was in special forces, but now he was creating something that had never existed before. He was teaching humans how to board alien ships and take them over from the inside. The alien ships are designed for their biology. He explained to his team. They are tall, so their ceilings are high. They breathe different air, so their ventilation systems are different. They see different light, so their corridors are lit in ways that hurt human eyes, but we are smaller. We are faster. We can fit in spaces they cannot reach. We can see in darkness they cannot. We can hold our breath longer. We can survive in cold that would kill them. The first test came when an alien scout ship entered the solar system. It was not part of the main fleet, just a single vessel sent to watch Earth and report back. Commander Yejin intercepted it near Jupiter with a squadron of 12 human fighters. The alien ship was 10 times larger than any human vessel. It had shields that could stop nuclear weapons and armor that had never been scratched. But it had never faced anything like human fighters before. The human ships did not attack in formation. They moved like a school of fish, like a flock of birds. Each pilot was connected to the others through quantum communication, but they did not follow orders. They followed instinct. The alien captain tried to target them, but every time he aimed at one ship, 3 others attacked from different angles. When he turned to face the new threat, the first ship was already behind him. The human fighters were not just fast, they were unpredictable. In 10 minutes, the alien ship was crippled, its weapons were destroyed, its engines were dead, and human marines were cutting through its hull. Commander Yejin led the boarding party herself. Inside the alien ship, everything was silver and cold. The corridors were twice as tall as they needed to be for humans, but that made it easier to hide. The aliens were slow to react because they had never been boarded before. They did not know how to fight enemies inside their own ship. When it was over, the humans had captured the entire crew without killing anyone. They had also captured something more valuable: the ship itself. Now human scientists could study alien technology up close. Dr. Jung-soo was the first human to examine a living alien up close. The creature was 8 feet tall with silver skin and glowing eyes. It spoke through a device that translated its thoughts into human language. "You cannot win it," said to Jung-soo. "You are insects compared to us. We have weapons that can destroy stars. We have ships that number in the millions. You have nothing." Jung-soo smiled and showed the alien a small device. It was one of Dr. Min-seo fusion torpedoes. "This is what humans call nothing," he said. The alien looked at the device, and its eyes grew brighter with what humans recognized as fear. The captured scout ship also revealed something else. The main alien fleet was not coming to Earth in 30 days, it was coming in 7 days. The Council had lied about the timeline. They wanted to catch Earth unprepared, but Earth was not unprepared. Earth was ready. President Kim So-young called another emergency meeting. But this time it was different. The world leaders were not scared anymore. They were determined. The message to humanity was broadcast from every capital on Earth: citizens of Earth. The aliens are coming in 7 days, not 30. They think this will give them an advantage. They are wrong. We are ready. We have weapons they have never seen. We have tactics they cannot understand. We have something they do not have. We have each other. The final preparations began immediately. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier was moved into position. The defense of Earth would not happen on Earth. It would happen in space far enough away to protect the innocent people below. As the alien fleet approached the solar system, they detected human ships waiting for them near Jupiter. The Council commander laughed when he saw how few ships the humans had. He expected an easy victory. He was about to learn that humans had been studying him for 5 years. They knew his tactics, his weaknesses, his overconfidence. They had prepared surprises that would haunt his nightmares. The war was about to begin, and the aliens were about to discover that they had awakened something. The message came on a Tuesday morning when most of Earth was sleeping. Commander Taemin was drinking his 3rd cup of coffee in the Seoul Defense Center when every screen in the building turned bright white. The coffee cup fell from his hands and shattered on the floor, but he did not notice. The white light hurt his eyes and made him step back. Then came the voice. It was not human. It sounded like metal scraping against stone mixed with the hiss of steam. The words were in perfect English, but they felt wrong in the air, like they did not belong there. Your species will submit to the Galactic Council or face complete extinction. You have 30 Earth days to decide. The screen flickered and showed something that made Taemin forget how to breathe. It was a creature standing 12 feet tall with silver skin that seemed to glow from within. Its eyes were like 2 stars burning in its skull. It had no mouth that he could see, but somehow the words kept coming from it. We are the Council. We have ruled this galaxy for 300 of your years. 47 species have tried to resist us. 47 species no longer exist. Your choice is simple. Serve us, or join them in death. The creature raised one long arm and pointed directly at the camera. The finger had too many joints and ended in something that looked like a metal claw. We know everything about your kind. You fight each other constantly. You cannot agree on anything. You are weak and divided. You will make good servants, if you are smart enough to surrender. The image changed to show Earth from space, but it was not the blue and green planet that humans loved. Instead, it showed Earth covered in gray metal cities, with massive ships floating above it. Humans in chains worked in the streets while silver creatures watched them. The scene was so real that Taemin could almost hear the crying. This is your future, if you choose to serve us peacefully. If you choose war, this is also your future, but with fewer of you, alive to see it. The screen went black and normal broadcast returned, but Taemin was already running down the hallway. His boots echoed loudly as he ran toward the communication center. Every person he passed had the same look of shock and fear. On their face, everyone had seen the message. Everyone knew what it meant in the communication center. Lieutenant Sora was trying to reach government leaders around the world. Her hands shook as she worked the controls. The normally calm woman looked like she had seen a ghost, sir. The message went out everywhere, she said, without looking up. Every TV, every radio, every computer, every phone in the world showed the same thing. The governments are already calling emergency meetings. Taemin nodded and grabbed the red phone that connected him directly to the president of South Korea. The phone rang once before a voice answered. Mr. President, did you see it? Yes, Commander Park, we all saw it. President Kim. So Young sounded tired, like she had aged 10. Years in 10 minutes I am flying to the emergency meeting in 1 hour. Every world leader will be there. We need to know what our military can do. Taemin looked around the room at all the screens showing news reports from around the world. People were running in the streets. Some were crying, some were praying, some were angry, everyone was scared. Sir, we have been preparing for this day since the first alien contact 5 years ago. Our weapons are ready. Our soldiers are trained. But sir, they say they destroyed 47 other species. I know, Commander, I know. But we are not like other species. We are human. President. So Young paused, and Taemin could hear papers rustling in the background. Get our best people together. Find out everything we can about these council creatures, find their weaknesses. We have 30 days to decide, but I have already decided. We do not bow to bullies. The phone went dead, and Taemin stood there for a moment holding the silent receiver. He thought about his daughter Minji, who was only 8 years old. He thought about his wife Hyejin, who worked as a teacher. He thought about the billions of people on Earth who had just learned they might die in 30 days. But then he thought about something else. He thought about what humans do when someone threatens their family. They fight. Dr. Youngsu arrived at the defense center 20 minutes later. He was the smartest man Taemin knew, and also the most calm. But today the old scientist looked worried. His gray hair was messy, like he had been running his hands through it. Commander, I came as soon as I could, he said while catching his breath. I have been studying the alien technology we captured from their scout ships 5 years ago. I think I know what we are dealing with. They sat in the secure briefing room with maps of the galaxy covering the walls. Dr. Youngsu opened his laptop and showed Taemin pictures of alien devices and weapons. These council creatures are very old, Commander, much older than humans. They have technology that seems like magic to us, but I found something interesting. They are not as strong as they want us to believe. Dr. Youngsu pointed to a picture of an alien weapon. It looked like a crystal that glowed with blue light. This is their main weapon. It shoots energy that can destroy our ships easily. But look at this. He showed another picture. This is the power source. It needs a very rare element called quantum 7 to work. They can only find this element on a few planets in the galaxy, so they have limits, Taimin said slowly. Yes, and more than that. Dr. Young Su smiled for the first time since arriving. They rule through fear. Commander, every species they conquered gave up without really fighting. They make threats and most species surrender immediately. They have never fought a real war. Taimin felt something growing in his chest. It was not fear anymore. It was something else. Something that made him think of his ancestors who had fought against impossible. Odds and one, Doctor, how long would it take to build weapons that could hurt them? Jung-Soo thought for a moment. If every country works together, if we share all our knowledge, if we use everything we learned from their technology, maybe 6 months, maybe less. We only have 30 days to decide, Commander, not to prepare. The old scientist smiled again. They said we have 30 days to surrender. They did not say, we have to tell them our answer in 30 days. Across the ocean, Captain Boram was preparing for the most important mission of her life. Her ship, the Soul Defender, was the most advanced vessel Earth had ever built. It was fast, quiet, and armed with weapons that used alien technology mixed with human engineering. Her crew of 12 was the best Earth could offer. Each person had trained for 5 years for this moment. They all knew they might not come back, but none of them hesitated when she asked for volunteers. Boram, the aliens have patrol ships watching our solar system. Captain Dongwu said as he checked the navigation systems. If we can get past them, we can reach the Kepler system and see what really happened to the species that surrendered. I know the risks, Boram replied while putting on her flight suit. But we need to know the truth. If we are going to fight, we need to know what happens to species that give up. The ship launched quietly in the darkness of space using new stealth technology that made them invisible to alien sensors. As they flew past, Mars Boram looked back at Earth. It looked so small and blue and peaceful. It was hard to believe that something so beautiful was now in terrible danger. But humans had always protected beautiful things. They would not stop now. The journey to Kepler 442b took 18 hours. When they arrived, Boram and her crew found something that made them all cry. The planet was gray and dead. Cities that had once been full of life were now empty ruins. In the distance, they could see massive mining operations, where the aliens were taking everything valuable from the dead world. Boram recorded everything. She made sure to document the bones they found in the ruins, the destroyed schools and hospitals, the evidence that this had been a world full of families, just like Earth. The species that lived here were called the Zenthari. Dr. Minho said as he examined the ruins. They were peaceful people. They surrendered immediately when the council arrived. They thought cooperation would save them. Instead, it just made them easier to kill. Boram said quietly. As they prepared to leave, Boram sent a message back to Earth using quantum communication. The message was simple, but it changed everything. We cannot surrender. Surrender means death, maybe not today, but soon. Fight or die, those are our only choices. When the message reached Earth, President Kim So-young was meeting with world leaders in the emergency session. She read the message aloud to everyone in the room. The silence that followed was heavy with understanding. Then something amazing happened. The President of the United States stood up and said, "We stand with South Korea." The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom agreed. The leaders of China, Russia, India, Brazil, every major nation on Earth said the same thing. For the first time in human history, every country agreed on something. They would not surrender. They would not bow. They would fight together as one species. The message they sent back to the council was written by President So-young, but it spoke for all of humanity. Come and take it. The council had wanted an easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened something they did not understand. They had united humanity and given them a common enemy. Now they would learn what humans do to bullies. The war was about to begin.